Hello and welcome everyone. I am Rahul and he is Shashwat and you're watching the Statesman exclusive interview. If you are a tennis fan, then I'm sure you must have seen this man hosting this year Roland Garros or the French Open. Or if you follow NBA on Sony Sports, he is the man who used to host the weekly shows. He is India's one of the most exciting anchors, none other than Saarthak. Uh,
Thank you so much, Rahul. Good to see you. That was
yeah,
productive. Thank you. Yes.
Yes. Hi, Sarthak.
Hi, Sharpur.
So we'd like to ask you a few questions. So firstly, we would like to know a little about your journey as a sports presenter so far, like all the ups and downs, if you can tell us about that.
So I think my journey it starts with the basic. The root is whether you love sport or no, and that is determined at a very young age. So for me, when I would be like नीचे जो बॉक्स क्रिकेट गली क्रिकेट खेला जाता है मैं पूरा दिन खेलता रहूंगा तो आई थिंक मुझे घर खींच के लाया जाता था वहीं पे वो एंकर कमेंटेटर स्पोर्ट्स प्लेयर छुपा होता है बच्चे में ही छुपा होता है सो ईदर यू हैव इट और यू डोंट हैव इट सो आई थिंक इट स्टार्ट्स वेरी अर्ली एंड फॉर मी एज अ चाइल्ड आई वुड होल्ड द क्रिकेट बैट में तो बेड पे भी उसके साथ ही सो जाऊं मैं टेनिस रैकेट के साथ सो जाऊं मेरे को इतना आई लव प्लेइंग दैट प्योर मतलब वो जो इनोसेंट लव फॉर समथिंग है ना that love is what eventually leads you to pursuing something like this and if you don't have it you just don't have it so a commentary stint that I got in Delhi actually where I think you guys are so I was doing pro wrestling league a commentary stint over there for pro wrestling league and that was my first break as a commentator which also I didn't know I thought मेरे को एंकरिंग के लिए बुलाया जा रहा है और लास्ट मिनट मुझे बोला कि आप कमेंटेटर हो and I've never done commentary and I'm in the prime time I'm doing live commentary so I learned like सीधा तुम्हें you were thrown into the deep end and you had to learn on the job I knew the मैंने मतलब wrestling की पढ़ाई करके गया था लेकिन मेरे को commentary का वो technicalities नहीं पता थी
Yeah.
so I just had to I was just मतलब सीधा सीधा फेंक दिया जा रहा था मतलब डिस्कवरी स्पोर्ट में फेंक दिया गया commentary में फेंक दिया गया सोनी पे एयर हो रहा था so I just kept learning that led me to eventually there was a startup that chose me to that wanted me to go to cover the World Cup then मतलब the journey has been like Azad Maidan से तुम सीधा England पहुंच गए to cover cricket World Cup for a startup. Actually, Sony picked me up to host NBA Weekly, and you know that I did the French Open recently. So yeah, it's been ups, downs, roller coaster, but you keep at it. That's how I'll sum it up.
Nice, nice. So my next question is, as we all know, sports journalism deals with a lot of interviews with different players. And that was not, I guess, not part of your career at the earlier stage. But then, as we know, you interviewed Rashid Khan. So we would like to know, how do you prepare yourself for an interaction with such a big sports person?
Right.
Like, it must
Right.
be really exciting, and how the step-by-step preparation goes on in your mind.
So at first, for someone just specific to Rashid Khan, I'll want to see what Rashid Khan what interviews he's given in the past, who's interviewed him, and what personality of his has come out. So like Rashid has obviously given a tons of interviews through his career, and I if I'm about to interview Rashid, I should know what kind of questions will he like because he's the hero of the interview. I'm not the hero. People are going to watch him because he's Rashid Khan. So I need to understand his pulse, his personality. If I'm preparing a set of questions, what questions will bring out the best in Rashid Khan? So my initial both thought process होता है. Then I'll go to Google, YouTube. सारे जितने भी interviews हैं, basically try to watch them at first. This is my first step of trying to understand the man. What has he already done in his interview sets? Like obviously his best interview will be with someone like a Gaurav Kapoor because he's come on Breakfast with Champions. So I don't want to repeat those questions. That's my first thing. And then once I've done that, obviously I want to prepare my own introduction, my own conclusion in a way that I am able to connect with audiences. So just prepare the fundamentals and more than anything, talk to Rashid before the interview. Become friends with him, connect with him. Because at the end of the day, it's more than the interview, it's your connection with the person that will connect the audience to you. So I want to connect to the human in Rashid Khan most importantly. That's how it works for me.
so Saarthak, you are a multi-sport presenter, right? We have seen you presenting so many sports tennis, basketball, cricket, and so on. The list goes on. So just tell us the preparation it takes, what it takes, to cover such variety of sports.
Right. So at first, like now when I was doing commentary for wrestling, when I did commentary for kabaddi. Obviously, every sport has finer details. The rules are different, and you need to study them. And more importantly, हर sport में तुम्हें players के नाम पता होना, players ने क्या किया, उनकी detailing. बहुत लोग details पे नहीं जाते हैं. Commentary is, see, when you are passionate about sports, वो passion तो सब में एक ही रहेगा, whether it's tennis, cricket, because that is the common factor.
Yeah.
So your love and your passion stays the same. But if you don't know the details, your audience will see through. So a lot of people think that अरे हमने क्रिकेट का कर लिया है एंकरिंग या कमेंट्री कर लिया तो हम बाय डिफॉल्ट बाकी भी कर लेंगे, बट नहीं, वैसा नहीं है ना. हमारे कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स में इस साल वी गॉट गोल्ड इन लॉन बोल्स. कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स जो बर्मिंघम, लॉन बोल्स एक ऐसा स्पोर्ट है जो किसी को पता ही नहीं था. उसमें हमारे द विमेन वेंट एंड गॉट गोल्ड. तो वो गोल्ड जो लाए उसके बाद लोग पता करने लगे लॉन बोल्स क्या है. उस गेम को अब लोग स्टडी करेंगे, अब उसकी डिटेल्स में जाएंगे. वही चीज आप और मैं एज व्यूअर्स वी आर एंजॉयिंग, राइट? वी लव what they did, but now if you're a commentator, if you're an anchor, you have to multiply it by that much more because it's your responsibility, right, to educate your viewers. Each sport has finer details, and I think the whole research thing, it's like एक proper degree की तरह है, तुम्हें हर sport को पढ़ना है.
So the next question is a little personal to you. So like out of all the sports that you've covered, not just tennis, and like you have to get past that.
Right.
So out of all the sports you've covered, which one is the closest to your heart, I would say? Like in terms of playing the sport, in terms of covering it, living the experiences on TV, like what is the one sport?
I think the experience I had when I went to Lords, when I went to the Oval in UK to cover the Cricket World Cup, that feeling, right, when I'm saying it now also, that high is unmatchable. Because when you are, and watching someone like Dhoni, I saw him at Old Trafford in his last ever World Cup ODI game, when India lost to New Zealand. So वो जो फीलिंग थी when everyone was disheartened, dejected, मतलब वो वाइब्रेशन ही ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड में ऐसी थी उस मोमेंट में, where you could see this sea of blue, because वहां पे इतने इंडियन सपोर्टर्स थे, where everyone was just वो sinking feeling महसूस हो रही थी. So I can still I still get goosebumps when I say this, but those memories of the World Cup in England 2019 that I got to cover, I think that is unparalleled. I don't think I'll have that because that was my first biggest like World Cup तो World Cup ही है, and more importantly that was pre-COVID. उसके बाद 2020 में COVID आ गया. So that I think is my number one experience, and I don't think anything in life can beat that. So yeah.
US Open is around the corner, and Novak participation and Nadal participation is still in the question. So like, who do you think come out on the top in the end?
तो आप इनडायरेक्टली मुझे पूछो कौन जीतेगा यूएस ओपन, राइट? तो बहुत बड़ा सवाल है ये. अभी
putting you on the spot.
लकीली इस साल मेरी प्रेडिक्शंस जा रही है सही. आई होप ये वाली भी सही जाए.
Give you a bit. This man has predicted 3 Grand Slams final, and they all went like.
टचवुड अभी तक सही जा रही है, तो I hope ये फोर्थ वाला भी सही जाए, but I'll tell you how I see it. ठीक है.
One more thing. Prediction से मेरे को Paul Octopus याद आता है 2010 का. He's a very own Paul Octopus. Just
तो I see what I feel. पहले तो नोवाक जोकोविच को खेलने देंगे कि नहीं वो तो कंफर्म नहीं है अभी तक. हाई चांस है कि नहीं खेल पाएगा. There's a good chance they won't let him play. So if he's playing, he's my favorite to win the US Open. If he's not playing, I'll tell you how I see it. So now we just saw Medvedev winning at Mexico. Los Cabos का जो tournament था, Medvedev ने अभी just won it. Now this is his first ATP title of 2022, Medvedev का, and he's the defending champion at the US Open. So winning at the right time, मतलब वो जो peak आई है Medvedev की by winning in Mexico is fantastic. And more importantly, उसने जीता है जिसके अगेंस्ट कैमरन नॉरी, जो विंबलडन में सेमीफाइनलिस्ट था, एंड उसने सेकंड सेट 6 लव लिया है मेडवेडेव ने. सो मेडवेडेव इज इन डोमिनेटिंग गुड फॉर्म. तो मेरे लिए आई एम अगेन गोइंग टू पिक हिम एज द टॉप फेवरेट. बट उसके साथ नाउ दिस नेम इज गोइंग टू सरप्राइज बोथ ऑफ यू एंड अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु विल वॉच. आई एम गिविंग इक्वल इंपॉर्टेंस टू अनदर मैन, वेरी यंग मैन, यानिक सिनर. Okay, Yannick Sinner.
Okay.
I see him. This is something I told even during Wimbledon. So everyone was expecting a quarterfinal between Alcaraz and Djokovic.
Djokovic,
And
yeah.
I knew in the fourth round that Yannick Sinner is going to defeat Alcaraz and बात ही नहीं होगी वो क्वार्टर फाइनल की, और सीधा सिनर और जोकोविच का क्वार्टर फाइनल होगा. एंड वही हुआ. एंड इंटरेस्टिंगली सिनर ने पहले 2 सेट जीत लिए थे जोकोविच के अगेंस्ट. I mean,
Yeah.
पूरा the whole story would have been something else if Sinner had beaten
Yeah.
Djokovic. So
Exactly.
and more importantly, Sinner has just won against Alcaraz in another final at Umag, Croatian Open. Mein. So he's again coming in with 2 wins over Alcaraz, who's considered to be the next big thing. Alcaraz
Yeah.
is fantastic. I won't say he's not, but my 2 favorites to win the US Open are Daniel Medvedev and Yannick Sinner, not Carlos Alcaraz, not Novak Djokovic. If he's obviously not playing. If he's playing, I pick him as the.
What about Nadal if he is fit?
Nadal, if he, so again,
yeah.
तो अगेन नडाल और जोकोविच दोनों का बहुत डाइसी है कि खेलेंगे कि नहीं खेलेंगे. नडाल खेल रहा है तो भी आई एम नॉट गोइंग विद नडाल. आई एम नॉट गोइंग विद.
What about the other seasoned guys? What if Tsitsipas?
I'll give Tsitsipas और वो लोग सबको तो मैं गिन ही नहीं रहा. I'll tell you who I count
Not even
as someone. Sorry.
Not even Matteo?
नहीं, Berrettini, yes, Berrettini, if he's playing, he can definitely make a deep run. Berrettini's got that, but I'll tell you who can be a serious threat. Felix Auger-Aliassime, the Canadian. He can make a deep run. So in the next generation, for me, the next generation के 3 players जो आने वाले सालों में सबसे ज्यादा धमाके करेंगे. One is Yannick Sinner, number 1. Number 2, Carlos Alcaraz. Number 3, Felix Auger-Aliassime. So ये तीनों में से कोई एक तो पक्का डीप रन करेगा इस यूएस ओपन में. दैट आई एम प्रीटी कॉन्फिडेंट एंड लेट्स होप इट हैपेंस.
सो ये प्रेडिक्शन लॉक हो गई है.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. अब देखें, आप तो ऑन रिकॉर्ड एक और बार कह दिया. वो होप.
लास्टली वी टॉक अबाउट द इंडियन टेनिस एट दिस मोमेंट. सो क्या चीज है जो इंडियन टेनिस को बूस्ट कर सकती है इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे?
आई थिंक इंडियन टेनिस ओवर द इयर्स we produce some of the greatest tennis players. मतलब if you see Amrit Rajes and Krishnan, हम leading the pace, महेश भूपति, हमारे इंडियन टेनिस की जो मतलब हिस्टोरिकली जो हमने किया है, मतलब 7 ओलंपिक्स लिएंडर पेस ने पार्टिसिपेट किया इन 7 ओलंपिक गेम्स. Sania Mirza has participated in 4 Olympic games. These are great achievements. What Somdev did, I mean, Somdev has played all 3, Novak, Rafa, Roger, and these guys have done great things for Indian tennis. And sadly, abhi we are struggling to put anyone into the main draw of a singles competition in the Grand Slams, and that is disappointing. I think more importantly, अब जो backing इनको मिल रही है, like let's say अभी जो हैं, like Sumit Nagal is someone who if you ask me one name, I'll say I would put my money on Sumit Nagal because he's got a great game. He comes in from Haryana. Attitude was like that aggression, that intensity. Virat Kohli's foundation is backing him. And I see that similarity also. He's got that fire like Virat Kohli. So I just feel like more people like Sumit Nagal, I mean, backing nahi mil rahi utna. We need to encourage this sport heavily. Like we are preparing athletes to go for the Commonwealth Games, Olympics. Commonwealth Games are tennis thani. So we need to encourage tennis at the grassroots levels. The sponsorships, everything has to come in very strongly, which is not happening because after Sania Mirza retires, this is going to be her last ever Grand Slam, as she's announced. I mean, she might turn it and say कि मैं खेल रही हूँ next year भी, but if this is her last ever slam, who do we have left in the big name? Bopana 43 is on the verge of retirement, and in terms of the big name, it's sad that कोई बड़ा नाम बचने नहीं वाला है for India. So it's high time Indian tennis is taken seriously. We need to bring tennis back in India. That's and it'll start at the grassroots level. It'll start with sponsorships, more backing, more support, more funding. That's prime infrastructure. So chalo, we can't compare our nation to what infrastructure and tennis court facilities you would have in the United States or in UK. But we can give them the opportunity to go abroad. We can send them to academies abroad. They can be funded because tennis is a very elite sport, and सबसे number one reason is because it's so expensive. Most players are not pursuing it, and that's why they tend to singles से भी doubles में ज़्यादा focus आ जाता है, because to maintain those expenses becomes the biggest challenge. And I'm very happy to have done this interview. It was so much fun, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Thank you so
thank you
much.
so much, and all the best for your future projects.